reasons to believe. I really appreciate the fact that he wants to base his faith on solid ground. I do too. And there are many reasons that I believe in the New Testament. One reason I believe in the New Testament is a personal reason. The reason I came to Christ is that Christ changed my life. I was a crazy, mixed-up kid. I saw 5 PhD psychologists or psychiatrists, and they were all highly recommended, and each one of them left me worse off than I was before. I have been following Christ now for 31 years, and it's only been getting better. And the more I study the Word, and also the Old Testament too, the more I study that, the more I see such wonders in wisdom and understanding. Wisdom that can only come from a divine source.
You know that
does somebody have questions? Because you're probably getting bored just listening to the two of us.
Anybody here is bored? No. Wait. You know that what you just said, it's not a scientific proof, because Muslims can swear that Quran makes their life so much better, and Hindus and all other cults. So that's really not an indication that shows that religion is true. But going back to my question that I asked you, thank you for your honest answer. So obviously a normal human being with common sense, not a genius, a normal human being, they don't have to be extra smart. If a person will claim that this book is from God, and I opened it and I saw in one page that the Twin Towers collapsed in Brooklyn, I tell him, my friend, I gave you your chance, you lost it. You blew it. Thank you very much, I'm a busy person. Fair? I gave him the chance. I took a week, I reviewed the book. I got lucky. After an hour, I found that mistake. Please explain me.
One question. Not a whole. I am limited in paper.
Go ahead. Go ahead. All right. Go ahead. No. Please. Me or you? Yeah. No. Yeah. I mean. Yeah. Please explain me. How does it say in the New Testament that the cave of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob is in the city of Nablus, when every person in the world that knows a little bit Israel and knew Israel for the past generations know that the cave of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob is in the city of Hebron? How can it be such mistake in a divine book? God, yes, here you go. It says like this.
In the New Testament, where is it at, so I can find it?
It says here, it says Jacob was buried.
Where in the New Testament?
I don't have, in this particular time, I don't have the source.
Wait. I can't answer a question where I can't find the reference.
No, in most of the places that I caught him, I wrote the sources. And this particular one, I don't have the source, but I will prove you that it exists. I mean, we read it. Okay. Also, well, now it's too late to get it, but I'll get it to you maybe even today. We'll see. But, no, well, maybe I'll email it to you. Okay. All right, but let's agree one thing. If I'm going to prove to you that the New Testament says that the cave where Jacob was buried, even though the Torah says that it's in Hebron, it's in the city of Nablus. Is the argument over, or you continue to come up with new opinions and new arguments? Based on what you said before,
I complimented you before, Joseph, because you were asking substantive questions.
Yes.
What this question is not as rich and as substantive as some of the others that you were asking. I really don't know what to say about that, and until you find a reference from me, I really don't know how to answer you.
Okay, but I'm repeating my question. If I will find you the source and show you where it is, I have it in my house. It's just a matter of an hour. You'll have it in an email when I get home. When I get you the source and show you...
Do you have the New Testament? Sure.
Well, maybe I have a help here from a good friend of mine sitting somewhere here. He will help us to find the source. I told you before we started, and I am sure you believe me, that before I say something, I check myself at least 5 times. You have to check yourself twice, but I check myself at least 5 times. So it's only a matter... Shh. No, please, concentrate on what we have here. This is the stage right here. So please, if I'm repeating my question to you, because it's a matter of moments or matter of hours. If I show you that the New Testament, which you claim God gave it, and have such a geographical mistake that it's obviously impossible that God doesn't know where the New Testament, when the cave is this the end of the argument, or we're going to have to continue to prove? That's my question to you.
At first I said I wasn't going to ask you, but you make such a persuasive case for an answer. I will try to answer. Now, it's probably not going to be the type of answer you like, but I don't know if I can satisfy you on this. But the reason that we believe in something or we don't believe in something, it usually doesn't hinge on a simple little word or a simple little fact. If I find so many reasons to believe in the New Testament, if I believe in the miracles, if I believe, and I think a much more meaningful thing to pursue would be the prophecies of Jesus, about the many prophecies that show that Jesus would actually, or the Messiah would die for the sins of the people. In Isaiah 53 talks about all we like sheep have gone astray, but God laid upon him the sins of us all. And it talks about him being a burnt offering. There are many such prophecies. In fact, in Zechariah, now this has good news and this is bad news, because in Zechariah 12:10 it talks about how God is going to pour upon Israel in the end a spirit of grace and a spirit of supplication where they will call out to God. And it says about that they will look upon him whom they have pierced, and they will mourn for me. And at that time it goes on to say how a fountain of forgiveness and cleansing will be opened in the midst of Jerusalem for the Jewish people. And of course, you know, what this is saying is if you're really a sincere Christian, you've got to love the Jewish people, because you recognize that we will all be brothers someday. Maybe right now we're divided by a lot of different issues, but if a person really loves Christ, they're going to love his people, and his people are the Jewish people. He came as a Jew. And so a Christian has to recognize that. All the apostles were Jewish. And so what I'm saying is that there are many reasons why I believe in the Christian faith. There are many prophecies I can point to that Jesus fulfilled. There are many, many miracles that he performed that are attested to not only in the New Testament, but extra-biblical sources also. There are all the wisdom I talked about. And another, I think, very, very fruitful area for us to explore is the consistency between the Old Testament and the New Testament. Because you're not going to like me for this if I say it, so brace yourself, put on your proverbial seatbelts. But I would argue, if we ever continue this again, that the New Testament is more consistent with the Tanakh than the rabbinic understanding, or as Yosef says, the Talmud. I think the Talmud has gone far astray, and I think the New Testament is much more faithful to the Old Testament revelation. So what I'm saying, I'm going to get back to your question. What I'm saying is, Yosef says, what if this one word was a problem? And I have to weigh that one word, that one problem, and it is a problem for me.
I think I gave you more than 30 different problems, not one word. I mean, I asked you about one word, but I asked you about 25 mistakes in a descendant.
But I think I answered that, didn't I?
No, you said
I said they're two separate genealogies.
How can it be for one person two separate genealogies?
People have a mother and they have a father, don't they?
No, but I already answered that. I told you descendants based on the Torah, which you agree is the word of God, does not go by the mother. Well, it may suit your purpose, but it's not proper.
But this situation is unusual because here you have a genealogy from a father who is not the biological father. So to cover all bases, perhaps that is the rationale. And I don't know the rationale because the New Testament doesn't give the rationale for giving two genealogies. But perhaps that is the rationale, to cover all bases. That biologically he's a child of David, he's a descendant of David, and also through adoption, he's the son of David.
Well, adoption, you know that if I'm a Kohen, which means a high priest in the Holy Temple, and I adopt